It's Jordan Mulligan from the Mulliganbrothers, and today's interview highlight is with Dr. Ivan Joseph, talking about taking accountability. What an important subject to go through today. The link in the description for mulliganbrothers.com helps support all of this. T-shirt sales and journal sales are basically what make this possible, so thank you. But before that, let's talk about taking accountability. Could you just expand on the importance of having a mentor?
Yeah, well, I'll say here's from the corporate center. Do you know that if you have organizations in the corporate world that have a mentorship, a formalized mentorship program, the people who get involved in them typically make anywhere from 12 to 24% more compensation, right? Well, how about those people? If you're a racialized person in an organization, you're 9 to 12% more likely to get promoted into a leadership role if you're a part of a formalized mentorship program. In short, mentors help you connect and engage in an organization. They help you say, here's where the pitfalls are. Here's the political landmines to avoid. Here's how this process works. They speed up your knowledge by years by connecting with a mentor and help you avoid pitfalls. Equally as important, they help bolster your confidence. They reinvigorate, they reinforce your thoughts, and they're a good place to vent and get all like, oh my gosh, you have this. And a good mentor is like slaps you upside the head and says, hey, stop. They're right. Here's what you need to be thinking about. Slow down. Those things, the people that can speak truth to you, that are authentic and genuine, they're invaluable in your career.
Speaking of mentors, again, back to the early days for yourself, you didn't feel like you had a person that was relatable to yourself, so that meant that you didn't have that mentorship early on. How important is it to break through and be like the first black golfer, or recognizable one like Tiger, in all different walks of life? Like, how important is it to try and to walk those paths where people haven't done it before, but it's going to lead for other people, and it's going to lead a trail for other people?
Well, let me answer your question this way, right? Because I don't want people to feel like if they have to achieve something with grandiose style and title and status in order to add value, right? So I will say that it's important, no matter what role, status, or title that you have, to remember the people who helped you get there and understand your obligation to lend a hand backwards to help others forwards, right? In the Caribbean culture, we have this word called Sankofa, S-A-N-K-O-F-A, meaning looking forward as well as reaching back. And so whether it is the title or the status, it's always important, no matter what your role is, how you can help others with an opportunity to get in the door, right? Now, in my role as a vice president, I feel the weight of that obligation and responsibility even more so, because I have the opportunity and the impact to do it at scale. Meaning, instead of as a soccer coach, I could give 1 or 2 people a scholarship. But as the director of athletics, I could give 15 or 20 people scholarships, because I changed the way that role is. As a vice president, I now could give 4,000 people scholarships. And so the scale, the higher you get up there, is equally as important. Now, and this is the most important thing, is do we have a responsibility, or how important is it to, I'll say, achieve at the highest ranks? I battle with that as a 50-year-old man. Is it really important to climb the ladder to achieve at the highest rank? Or is it really important to be really good at what you do so that others see you as excellent and want to then aspire to be you? That's where I would probably leave that question.
Yeah, inspiring action, inspiring change through action. So we can see it in everyday walks of life. It could be somebody who works really hard at their job, and it could just be the mundanest of jobs, but doing that task with a sense of purpose and a sense of fulfillment is so important, but it's so difficult for some people to find that sense of purpose and that sense of fulfillment. What's your advice for people who are struggling with that kind of thing?
Oh, it's a great question. And so I always talk about finding your purpose. And I'll say it this way. when you have a clear sense of purpose, you're not working anymore. You're not dreading getting out of your bed in the morning or opening up your car door in the parking lot and climbing the stairs to get to work. But people understand, well, I don't know what that is, and I don't know what that means. And the question I always ask people is, what are you volunteering to do right now? What are you doing in your spare time? What is it that the last time you did something and time just flew by? Oh my gosh, it doesn't even feel like work. You know what? When I have all these other things to do, I usually do this thing first because it just gives me joy. That's how I became a soccer coach. And the advice given to me was, stop pursuing status, title, and money. Do what you volunteer to do, and success and excellence and the money will come. And I remember dropping out of deciding to go to medical school and said, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I think I'm going to become a soccer coach. Now imagine telling your immigrant parents who've sacrificed everything for you that you want to be a soccer coach. What? You want to what? You want to kick a ball around? But because I never felt like I was working, I read everything about soccer. I watched every video. I studied everything I read. Didn't matter if it was a movie about Lion King, there would be a line there that I could apply. It didn't matter if I was watching a corporate video on Honda about Kaizen and excellence. I thought how I could apply that to soccer. And so by doing and pursuing something that I love, my passion, I was able to be resilient because this is my passion. Doesn't mean that excellence happened right away. I was able to weather downturns and rejections and all these things because I loved it. And I didn't care about what material wealth or status. And then all of a sudden, I became really good. And in 10 years, I became the highest paid athletic director, the highest paid soccer coach in the country, all because of my pursuit of my purpose.
How do you, so I mean, for me, that's an amazing explanation for it. But there are those people who feel so trapped in their work, in their day-to-day job, in their lifestyle, like you say, the reaching for status as well. Like how do we drop that? How do we get rid of that?
It's hard because, you know, and let's be quite clear. You got families, you got mortgages, you got car payments. It's hard. Number one is, in order to pursue your purpose, you got to recognize it takes courage and you have to be willing to sacrifice. And so just like anytime you learn a new skill or you learn a new tactic, your lifestyle, your quality of life, your material things will probably go down. You might have to, just like I had a person who gave up his corporate job and decided to become a coach. And he was making $400,000 a year when he sold his house, he sold his car, and he became my assistant coach for $6,000. And for 5 years, he became an assistant coach because he wanted to learn. Fast forward 10 years later, he's coaching in the MLS, making more money than he did as a corporate person. So I will tell you, yes, I don't want to mislead any folks that are out there. It's scary. Your quality of life in terms of material possessions will probably go down, but your quality of life in terms of health, well-being, stress, hope, optimism, happiness will go way beyond anything you imagined. And I tell you this, the people who pursue hope, optimism, and purpose live way longer lives, have way less stress, recover from injury and surgery quicker than anybody else. So by the time you look at that big house, that mortgage, that fancy car, you got one life to live. And it's a choice you got to make.
And there you go. A really, really important subject. Something that in today's generation and today's world just does not happen. So many people go through life without taking accountability. And the thing I think that we should do in life is have ultimate accountability. Everything that we do and experience in life is affected by us somewhat. There is always an effect by us. And once you realize that, you can start taking your accountability for everything, which is super, super important. We are not victims to the world. Stuff isn't just happening to us. We have an involvement to play in that. How we react has an involvement to play in that. And today's video was brought to you by Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can now buy the Inspire Change t-shirts and the journals, all linked down below. Go follow me on Instagram at Jordan Mulligan Brother. Go inspire some change. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.